আসসালামু আলাইকুম। ও আমার বোনজি, তাইনার আব্বা আম্মা নাই, আমারও তো ঠিক নাই বিয়া দিবার। আর তাই তোরারে দিবা নে, আমরা দোয়া করবো নি, তোরা সাহায্য করছো।
Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yesterday, we received a call from Medina University, Saudi Arabia. A brother contacted us and said his father passed away due to COVID-19. He's unable to come because of travel restrictions, and he's asked us to help him organize his father's burial. Inshallah, with your help and support, we are going to fulfill the obligation of burying a brother or sister in need. We are expecting a significant rise in referral to Muslim Burial Fund, specifically in relation to COVID-19. It's impacting the people in the UK and around the world. Inshallah, we expect your help. We are also helping people with telephone helpline, telephone befriending support. We're also giving these protective suits to the funeral services up and down the country. We need your help, brothers and sisters, especially with the burial support of those most in need. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eden Care UK is a friendly intervention service providing support to people who are terminally ill reaching end of life. We advocate for a high quality of care and enhanced life choices, and challenge the isolation of elderly people through friendship and social activities. This service would not be possible without your support. Please donate edencareuk.com or call 07957 199 328. National Muslim Burial Register was established to support Muslims arrange their final rites. This service caters for Muslims who have no one to carry out their Islamic burial rites upon their death, including funeral planning and burial after their demise. Get in touch for a friendly chat and discuss our eligibility criteria. muslimburialfund.co.uk or call 07957 199 328. National Muslim Burial Register is a service offered by Muslim Burial Fund.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Chit Chat show. We are now live and we will be chatting about local issues, internet issues, any issues that you fancy talking. So please call, make comments. Inshallah, we will talk through until 1 o'clock. I would now like to introduce my co-host, Mr. Shahi Miah, and then we'll get the show up and running. Assalamu alaikum, Shahi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
To
salam.
everybody. I hope you can join us in our serious but entertaining. Hopefully, we're trying to make it a little bit fun discussion at this late hour. I've got my strong cup of tea with me, so I'm still fairly lively. So hopefully, we hope we can join in our discussions.
So you're not
We've
going to
got
fall
a few
asleep?
quite interesting topics to go through today. So I'll hand. Would you like to continue? Shall I pass on to the next one of our guests?
Yeah, we can introduce our guests,
So
the
our
two
first
special guests.
honoured guest, I think, is Foysal Ali. So I'll pass on to him.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. I'm
Walaikum
Foysal.
salam, Foysal Bhai. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me. And Shahi Bhai, thank you for your praised introduction here. I'm just like an ordinary person like anyone else, but thank
Nobody's
you very much.
ordinary on this show, Foysal Bhai.
You have been specially selected from thousands.
That's right. And our second special guest is Atik. Please join us, Atik.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Atik, I'd like to make a special thank you for bringing our average age down by quite a bit. So thanks for doing that. At least.
I don't know if it's quite a bit, maybe a few months or a couple of years. I don't know about quite a bit.
Shahi, don't let this white beard fool you, bruv. I'm not old as I look.
No,
There's a pretty face behind that white beard.
Well, there's a young person behind this white beard.
that's Father Christmas.
Well, nearly. Just got a few black bits around the sides. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We're going to kick off with a issue that is affecting most people in this community and nationally as well, which is to have the jab or not to have the jab. Now, this has been an ongoing discussion. Some people are for it, some people are against it. There's conspiracy behind it. Now, suddenly, if Atik start doing the robotic dance, then we know he's been microchipped. So stay away from the remote control. That's all I can say. Anyway, Brother Shahi, have you had your jab?
Yeah, I have actually. I was actually, unfortunately, everyone in my household actually got COVID, not too long ago, about 2 months ago. So we experienced firsthand, how frightening it can be, because basically by the time the first person got tested, everybody else had already caught it. So in a household where you've got family, children, parents, plus you may even have extended family, So I've got my mum living with me. So I was most worried or frightened because she got it as well, and obviously with the jab, which I believe over 50% of adults in the country have now had, it would actually stop you getting very, very serious illness from the virus. So it won't stop you spreading it. It won't stop you catching it. But if you are unfortunate enough to catch it, it means that it should, inshallah, stop you from becoming very ill and ending up in hospital. So that's why I would say, if you've been invited, please book it and have the jab, because for our families, it's really, really, I think it's a very important protection.
Well, I mean, that is what this is about, isn't it? I mean, we've been for over a year now. Some stop-starts. We had easing of the lockdown. We had complete lockdown. But there are still people out there who do not wish to have the jab. I mean, that's a personal choice, and they're entitled to that choice. But I think from somebody in your position whose family had it, then obviously that is a positive that you should go and is invited to go and have the jab. I myself had the jab. I'm waiting for my second one next month. I didn't have any hesitation of actually doing it. So for me, it's a positive one to go and have it as well. Now, Foysal, have you had yours done?
Yeah. I was just going to add to what Shahi was saying. With everything going on, I think a lot of people have been going through a lot of anxiety throughout the last few months, and perhaps over a year or so. With the vaccination, we're hearing so many different stories, but I think at the end of the day, you've got to weigh it up. You've got to weigh it up in the sense that the vaccination is just not a vaccination just taken off the shelf. It has gone through its processes to verify its efficacy and all sorts of things. It's a new vaccine which has been launched, and it's been proven that it has benefits. With the negative side of things, when people talk about the side effects and so on, if you compare the COVID vaccine with other vaccines, in terms of side effects, it's pretty much similar to any other vaccine, to be honest. So
I mean,
yes,
if I can cut in, sorry to interrupt. So I mean, I had the Oxford, the AstraZeneca jab, and I was actually curious, what are the side effects going to be? And luckily, I mean, it wasn't anything serious. My arm did go a little bit green, I must be honest, because of the bruising.
I was surprised about here you went green. I had the AstraZeneca.
So, and also there was a bit of stiffness, Now, obviously, if I'd had the Pfizer one, you never know, the stiffness. Like,
no, I mean, I've had the Pfizer. I've had 2 doses of the Pfizer one. With this vaccination,
Hold on.
Hang on a minute.
Hold
You
on.
had
How
two
old are
How did you
you?
manage that?
How did you manage that?
Huh?
Wink, wink.
That's how I roll, unfortunately. I know people. No, but the thing is, with the vaccine, look, at the end of the day, it's personal choice. The reason I've had it is I spent quite a few months without seeing my parents because I live away from my parents. So in order to sort of stay safe and just for my peace of mind, I had the vaccine so I can go and spend time with my parents again. So at the end of the day, it's a personal choice. You know, you make your own mind up, you do your research, and you see how you feel. But the vaccine's there for a reason, and you know, you make your choice basically. Like Shahi said, I did have a dead arm for a few days. I haven't been able to play golf, which probably ain't
That's a bloody
Well,
shame,
that,
isn't it?
that really is.
That's an important point. When you have the vaccine, you can actually choose which. I mean, just in case any brothers or sisters are very worried about it, you can actually choose which arm you're going to have it on. So I don't know if you're right-handed and you need that arm for work or whatever reason. I'm not going to go into it. So you can say, "Oh, do my left arm," or vice versa. So you know, that's not a huge concern. But if anyone out there has had any like interesting side effects, obviously we'd love for you to phone in and
give us a call.
share your experience. You know, that's
Please
what we're here for.
Please take part in the discussion.
We've got a couple of comments here. Shahi, please share what brand of tea you're drinking.
Darjeeling. Is it Darjeeling?
That's for another program.
Sainsbury's Red Label by any chance?
It could be. Yes, it could be.
We've got another comment from a sister. She agrees with Brother Shahi. Her family had the vaccination as well, and they're just waiting for the second dose. So, alhamdulillah, there's a lot of people out there who've had it. I think the government thingy is that by June, July, they want majority of the population to be vaccinated. Whether or not that will happen, that's another issue, because some of the vaccine is not coming to the UK, apparently.
Well, I understand that our Prime Minister is actually travelling to India quite soon to actually get hold of more vaccines for the UK.
Well, I hope it doesn't bring back a new vaccine which involves cows, but that's another question. So,
I mean,
swiftly moving
on a slightly serious part of this, I mean, all the reports are saying that the communities that have been like affected the most by the virus and where you've had the most fatalities, sadly, is in the Asian, Black, Asian, and ethnic communities.
Well, I understand the Bangladeshi community is one of the worst affected.
Yeah, Bangladeshi community has been one of the worst affected. So there's a lot of reasons. Obviously, we can't. It would take a whole more than a program to discuss all of them. But basically, I think a lot of our communities are in the front line. You know, in the front line jobs. So especially for those brothers and sisters out there working in healthcare, maybe in hospitality or in transport, you know, you cannot not have the vaccine, if that makes sense. You know,
yeah,
you have to,
I think
unless you've got a very serious risk of an allergy or something like that, you know, unless you've got something that might interfere with it, I think you've got to have it, because otherwise you're putting yourself at a huge risk.
Health professional will advise you if you have any health issues that might affect that vaccine being given to you. So, like I said, we'll just touch broadly on the subject to start the show off. So, yes, if you feel that you should have the vaccine, please do if you haven't had it. And if you don't feel like it's something that you don't want to have, then obviously nobody's going to force you, but you need to think long and hard about the pros and cons of it. Now, we're going to come to a very serious issue, and that is, since the lockdown, a lot of brothers, especially in the community, have been walking around like Yeti with long hair because the salons have been closed. Now, I want to have a quick opinion from our guests and my co-host. Where do you stand on this? This
this is
issue?
interesting because there's a few things that it touched on in my experience. So obviously the media has been going on about pubs opening here, the excitement building up. You know, people are sort of lathering at the mouth to get to the pub, right? So I'm thinking perhaps in our community we're not so we're not so sort of worried about the pubs. But like you said, I think there was some anticipation for when the salons are going to open up. Personally, I've actually got used to having the home coiffure, the bubby. I don't know what you call it, but it's not too bad. Like I think I can get away with it. You know what I mean?
You wake up and your hair is gone. Where is it gone?
But like my children, like one of them's 14 and one is 10. God, Allah bless him. But as soon as they were bugging me, take us to the haircut, take us for a haircut, Baba, take us. So when I took them, and I was quite surprised. It's quite a sort of trendy place. They took me to. I was a little bit worried for my wallet as well. Looking at the sort of stylish place, and apparently there's this thing called a fade. That's what everyone's doing now. All the youngsters, they're basically it was very busy in there. Every single seat was occupied. They were all getting the fade. And I was sitting there.
We know what the fade is. Don't give our age away. But we all know about the fade, yes. I mean, myself, I mostly have my hair done at home anyway, so it doesn't make any difference to me.
It looks like it.
We can tell, yeah.
No,
fantastic.
I've gone past the shampoo and styling for an hour age a little while ago. It's now just get up and just put a bit of water on it, and that's it.
I use L'Oreal because I'm worth it.
Yes.
Well, Atik, I was going to say that it was only a couple of days ago I saw you, and you look very different today for some reason.
What I want to know, Atik, was there a long queue? Now, this is one of the things pre-Eid. You have people going around the blocks waiting for a haircut. I presume similar now that the barbers are open, that there would have been a long queues outside. And were they adhering to the social distancing rules?
So firstly, I went on Monday and the queue was outside the door. So I just went back home. I thought, no, I'm not going. I went on Tuesday, but I phoned my barber and he told me a time to come, and I went. Social distancing was out the window. There is no social distance. It's every man for himself. You understand? But the queue was that long.
How did you get into that door?
Oh. I mean, I've seen some of those queues at Eid time. Not that I went there, but going past
who remembers? I mean, we're quite spoilt now because there's so many barbershops open. But when we're growing up,
one in particular place that most people went to, Fourth Square. Yes.
That Chris is a legend. I think he must have cut all the kids in the East End's hair at some point.
It must be his grandchild now running the place.
Listen to this, right? So when I can remember going for a haircut, proper, they used to do the scissors and everything, like take time over it. £2.50. I don't know if I'm giving my age away. But now,
God,
if you go to the local chop shop, the cheapest one you can find, you're looking at £10. What's going on?
£2.50 was a lot of money at that time.
That's a week's wages, bro.
Especially when you were at school as well. So,
I'm still in contact with Zach, Chris's son-in-law.
Oh, wow.
I haven't been in there for donkeys.
So it's basically Zach's son that's running the barbershop. Zach suffered some kind of stroke about 10 years ago. So he's basically in a vegetative state at home. It's quite sad what's happening. But it's basically Zach's son that's now running Chris's.
So it is Chris's grandson. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's a proper generation handed down from generation to generation story there.
I mean, I offered to buy Chris out. I offered to buy the building. Chris is never going to sell the building. He hasn't got a mortgage on it. He paid peanuts for it back then. But he's had a facelift, actually. You should pop in.
Hang on. Talking
about haircuts.
Talking about haircuts.
Yeah, first of all, you want to read that comment out?
I just want to read a comment here from Sister Asia Zaman, by the way. I wonder who that is. Saying that our sisters had also suffered during the lockdown. And someone got a haircut on the panel somewhere here today. And the sister had to give a haircut during the lockdown.
I'll be honest with you. I gave my son a haircut, and it was a Lionel Messi haircut. And my son then went on YouTube and he said, "That is not a Lionel Messi haircut." I told my son, if Lionel Messi came to my house, that's the haircut he'd be having.
So that is a Lionel Messi haircut.
Well, Messi by name, Messi by haircut.
So
Well,
can I ask,
I've got to
is
say,
your son still in his room?
He's still. It's been 2 weeks. Give him time. He'll come back soon.
When the hair grows out again, yeah.
poor sod.
Oh dear, oh
Oh.
dear.
And, I did put a bowl over my son's head actually. Just
Yeah.
nice and neat.
Make it round, yeah.
Talking of hair, I was thinking of getting myself a blonde wig and like trying to get the attention of Boris Johnson. You know, it might do my career prospects some good. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
We'll get the mop hat from the kitchen and put it on your head.
Well, this takes us nicely on to the next subject, talking of Boris Johnson. Foysal, would you like to introduce the next subject?
Oh, well, basically, I just was going to say if anyone was actually interested in the mayoral elections that's going to happen, which is due, I think it's 5th or 6th of May, isn't it?
To be quite honest with you, I've not really taken any.
I've not taken any interest
in it. I know I've got the papers through the post for the postal votes, etc.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, it is something important because it's going to touch everyone.
Well, I think the
London, that is.
The one that's going to be the most vocal are the Uber drivers and the black cabbies, I think.
Yeah, but do you believe any of them? I mean, they make promises now, but once they're in power,
well, I mean, that's politics for you, bro.
I'd rather not get involved in it. I'd rather.
I know.
Well, the thing is, I was just going to say.
I feel a bit sorry for Sadiq Khan actually, because I mean, he's a sort of chap from an ordinary background. I think his dad used to be a bus driver or something. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He said that a million times. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, he's gone in there. He's trying hard to manage in a crisis situation. You know, obviously it's a global crisis and so on. And apparently the Conservative government have stitched him up so badly. They've basically muffled him. It's like he's like a turkey that's been like wrapped up, muzzled. He can't talk. He's got no feathers. Right? He's been plucked.
I believe
the media, all the money is behind the Tories. All the media is behind the Tories. And they're just setting him up like a turkey ready to go in the oven.
He's a lame duck mayor. Like you get lame duck presidents, he's a lame duck mayor. Basically, he's got the title, but he hasn't got any power.
Well, I mean, to be fair, right? I mean, he has kept one or two promises. For example, you know, the London transport.
TfL.
Yeah, TfL. Basically, he froze it, and he did. He kept that promise. He didn't actually increase the fares as soon as he got it.
But now your council tax is going to be paying for it.
But no, what's happened since is that, from what I understand, is that the central government have, because of COVID and everything, the transport network has suffered a lot because people haven't been using the underground, the buses and so on, and it's ended up with loads of debts and so on. So now what's happened is it's basically the only place he could turn to was the central government for a bailout, and what the government has put in conditions saying that he's got to increase tax and revenue through council tax and increasing the ULEZ zones and the congestion zones and so on. So that's why I think the ULEZ zone is now expanded to, what is it?
406.
So circular, self-circular.
Just to support what Foysal is saying, basically the government has actually forced him to implement certain policies as a condition of the bailout. Yeah, and then at the same time, they're publicizing and attacking him for those very policies.
Well, this is what I was going to say, Shahi. This is what I was going to say, Shahi. That Sean Bailey,
their position, their power, and the levers of control and finance, they're making him look like a lame duck, and that's what everyone's basically is following that lie. He's sitting there, he's got his arms and legs tied up, he can't do nothing.
Well, this is what I was going to say, Shahi. Exactly that point is that
the Conservative candidate, apparently he said some very, very nasty things about certain communities.
Back in 2005,
he directly attacked the Muslim community and the Hindu community. That's the first for a Conservative candidate. They usually just attack the Muslim community, because that's an easy target, right?
And the funny thing is,
I'm not supporting either candidate, but obviously, you got to look at the record and what people have said, and on that, on your value judgment, look at what they're offering, basically.
I think what you've got to look at is whether you're looking at the whole election process on a political basis or as individuals, the candidates. Now, if you look at the Tories, I mean, Boris Johnson was London mayor at one point, and we all know what happened then. There was a lot of wastage and so on.
Can I just go back to what I was saying before about a blonde wig and trying to catch his eye, because that could do my career prospects a lot of good, I mean, this is sick, guys. Come on, this is sick. This is like, people should be vomiting, literally, physically, right? This guy had a girlfriend, right? Can I say that? I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong, am I? A mistress or girlfriend. He was doing what he was doing, and he was giving her taxpayers money, and no one said a word. Where's the media? Because they're all his mates.
Well, we all know what's going on there.
And billionaires who own the media, they want him in that position, and whatever he does, it doesn't matter. He could sell the whole country down the river. They'll be clapping him as long as they get their, sort of privileges and favors, and they retain their power. They don't give a damn about the ordinary person. Sorry, am I being too one-sided?
Passion is good, Mr. Miah.
No, I think we're going off topic here. I mean, let's get some callers in. There's been a lot of comments come through.
Yeah.
So guys, who's watching, start calling in. Let's hear your views on this.
Yeah, that's what this is all about. Any of the subject we touched upon, please give us a call.
I think there's a comment here from Sister Kulsuma who said that with the pandemic, the election isn't really on the top of people's concern at the moment. But she is saying that we have to vote in order to make a change. But then again, I think, who do we vote? That's a question. Who will be good enough for us Londoners, and who will make who will benefit us most with any change? So it's a tricky one. But I suppose the individual have to base their decisions on the candidates and the political parties that they support.
We've got another comment from
Dubai. Oh, we've got someone from Dubai. We've got quite a few comments. Azafor, do you want to go through them?
I think they're talking about haircuts and some comments about. We got. Let's discuss why India is on the red list and Bangladesh and Pakistan are. Maybe if we have time, then that's something we can have a little.
Maybe that person can call in and explain why.
Yeah, why don't you call and go through it, and we'll have a little discussion and see where we get from.
Why not? Yeah.
We also got a sister saying that most people are not interested in the election at the moment, but Sadiq has to go. So that's a personal choice. So we're not advocating that on this show, but that is your own personal
He's been
choice.
told, hasn't he?
I think there's a lot of thingy that most people are unhappy with him.
I think what you said
but
before,
then again, whoever comes in, I don't think is in the short term, yes, maybe just to appease some people, they'll do this, that, and the other. But in the long run, there's always going to be motorists. At the end of the day, are easy targets. They're the source of
would you
revenue as well.
vote for? I mean, just as a hypothetical question, would you vote for somebody if you didn't know how many children they had? Would you vote for them? Just a hypothetical question.
Okay,
what's that got to do with the voting?
We'll come back. We have to go for a short break now, so please join us and please give us a call.
Please dial in.
Any issues you have, and inshallah we'll have a little chat. And that's the show, Chit Chat. See you in a bit.
Eden Care UK is a friendly intervention service providing support to people who are terminally ill reaching end of life. We advocate for a high quality of care and enhanced life choices, and challenge the isolation of elderly people through friendship and social activities. This service would not be possible without your support. Please donate edencareuk.com or call 07957 199 328.
আব্বা কতদিন আগে মারা গেছেন?
10 বছর।
আর আম্মা?
7 বছর।
মারা গেছে। মা বাপ কেউ নাই না?
না।
তখন তা বিয়া ঠিক করছেন কোনো?
ও ঠিক করছি। তো অনেক যারা 60 জন লাগি রে বাবা, আমি থাকি আপনার কাছে আত্মাত্রাম জেনে আমি ফুরিগুতারে একবার দিতাম।
তোমার নাম কি দাদা? শারমিন বেগম। আচ্ছা, তোমার বয়স কত? 12। ওকে। তোমার আম্মা কয়? মারা গেছো কতদিন আগে?
3 মাস।
তোমার 3 মাস তো ইয়া। তোমার আব্বা কয়?
আব্বা জানি না, কেন পাগল হয়ে গেছে।
নানি তোমার আব্বা কোনো? তুমি খালো কে টাকায়?
বর্তমানে আমার আম্মার লোকে তার।
তোমার আম্মা নু মারা গেলা, তাই না? আপনার তোমার আম্মা নেই? জানলে কি দেখো আম্মা দেখো আপনি কোকা চাই তাই যে আপনারা এমনি কিতা আপনি তাই মা মারা বাদে কি তো
মা মারা গেছে না, যাওয়ার পরে সে তাইর মামুর সাথে আমার গেছে মনে বাড়ি আসছিল। তার মা মারা যাওয়ার পরে তার মামু রাগ করে নিয়ে মার গুরুস্থানও নিয়ে ফেলাই দিয়েছে। আমি গুরুস্থান তুলে তুলিয়ে আনি সময় আমরা মনে করো পরিবেশ পালাও আছে, ছোলাপিলেও পালা আছে, তাই তুলে অনেক টাকা খরচ করছে। তুলে লেখাপড়া বাদ দেওয়া টাকা বাদ দেয় পারতাম না, আমরা আনতাম খাই।
আপনার হাজবেন্ডে কি তা করবেন?
মাছও ব্যবসা করেন, জাল করি ভাই।
আপনার আত্মীয় নি থাকা?
আমার আত্মীয় কিছু না, মানে আমরা ওই সময় বাচ্চা কাচ্চা পাইছি না, বাচ্চা কাচ্চা লাগে মাছ করছে পরে তাই খবর পাইয়ে আছে আমরা।
I haven't come across a story like this. The mama puts her on the grave. This person who's not related hears about this story. She cannot have children. Her and her husband go and rescue her. So who is really rescuing? You and me who have all the wealth, or ordinary simple people like this sister? This woman, she should be honored. She should be Inshallah, brothers and sisters, if this story touches you, please come forward. Help us to help this orphan and also the helpers of this orphan who are now struggling.
Thirteen Rivers Trust presents Ask the Imam, live on Facebook, brought to you by Muslim Burial Fund in association with Eden Care UK and Select Aid. Guests include Sheikh Solomon Ghani, Hafiz Abul Hussein Khan, Imam Abdullah Hassan, and Imam Zubair Kareem. Join us this Ramadan and learn your deen.
Join us live every Friday,
Saturday, Sunday,
4 to 5 p.m. on MyRamadanTv and the Ramadan Children's Show channel. Yay!
We are waiting for the blessed month of Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Chit Chat show. As you can see in the break, some of our projects by 13 Rivers Trust. You can see the link below. This is the month of giving, so please, please, please make donations to the various projects that we are doing with 13 Rivers Trust. Some amazing work that we are doing. The brothers and sisters are working very, very hard, especially the Muslim burial, who during the year-long lockdown have buried over 140 people due to the COVID situation. We are also very much in touch with a project that all of us are involved with, which is Silat Aid. I know Atik just wants to have a quick little chat in regards to that. So I hand over to Atik.
Yeah, just I know it's a light-hearted show, but on a serious note, I mean, everyone, I hope you know what we do as part of Silat Aid. This Ramadan, the first iftar, a friend of mine texted on our group chat, and he said, you know what, this iftar tastes good because I donated to Silat Aid, and I know that someone poor is getting a decent iftar and Shahi. That's why it tasted so good.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's.
I mean, for whatever amount of money you can give, just remember it makes a huge, huge difference. You know, the food that you taste this Ramadan will be that much sweeter by donating to Silat Aid. If you go on Facebook, etc., I'm sure you can see what kind of work that we have been doing these past couple of years.
Particularly this year, I think. If I just want to add, I partook in one of the distributions in Bangladesh this year, and I got some feedback from the village where the distribution took place. And I can tell you that people were so ecstatic after receiving the food packs, because this year's particularly during Ramadan, pre-Ramadan, some people have just been working. I'm talking about people who previously would have had an income from sort of like daily work, or daily manual work and stuff like that. They weren't working, so they were worried about how they were going to feed themselves, their families. And alhamdulillah, with the generous food packs that we provided these people, they're just so ecstatic, and they've been praying, dua for everyone who contributed and paid towards these packs. So inshallah, Allah accept everyone's generosity and donations, and these people will be praying for everyone. And thank you everyone who have donated so far, and we count on your support for our projects that are ongoing and going forward.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad you raised that point, because I think this year and maybe in other years as well, I know that the 13 Rivers Trust has actually subsidized the food packs, to quite a high amount. I don't know the exact amount.
Well, we
really need
1,200 food packs.
1,200 food packs. So I mean, it's a significant amount, and I know that I think we've reached between 15 to 20 distribution points where packs were given out. In some places 66 packs, in other places 30 or 50. So thanks to our thanks to the donors and volunteers. Not forgetting the volunteers in Silat as well.
Absolutely.
Luckily, because we've been able to go there in past years ourselves, we've actually managed to train, and gain the support of the volunteers on the ground in Silat, without whom, it would be very, very difficult to carry out the distribution.
It's such a huge logistical
I think
endeavor.
I'm just really thankful to the trust for, putting in their own money to actually support the campaign, and to allow us to give out even more packs this year. And again, I'd implore everybody to support and continue supporting that project, food pack project, so that we can cover that cost, and hopefully even maybe reach other areas even during this Ramadan, because obviously even 1,200 packs, it's only a drop in the ocean, really. If you look at the number of people.
Hey, but can I just add here, when we're talking about packs, for the people that don't know, we're not talking about just one pack for one meal. We're talking that pack is for 30 days for a family of 4. That's the amount of food that we actually put into these packs. So these 1 packs actually should last 30 days for a family of 4. So that's sehri and iftar, you know. And the cost of the pack, believe me, if you're in the UK and you're ordering online for your iftar, that pack is a lot cheaper than what you would spend on your own iftar.
I would say just on one iftar. One iftar.
Yeah. And that pack, it lasts someone 30 days, you know. There was a comment I read recently where one brother, he was asking the Sheikh, if I don't have food for sehri and I don't have food for iftar, would my fast still be valid? I mean, what can you say about that? Tonight, when you're having your sehri, just remember that. Someone asked a question, genuinely, because he doesn't have the food, he doesn't have the money. He can't have sehri, he can't have iftar. And he asked the question, will my fast still be valid? So tonight when we eat in our sehri, or tomorrow when we eat breaking our fast during iftar, just remember that.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a powerful point. Really powerful point.
We're just going to have a quick look at the comments. There's a few comments here. Somebody from Dubai, I think it is, asking who is Sadiq Khan. Basically, he's the mayor of London.
Current mayor of London.
Yeah, current mayor of London, and there's an election coming up next month. He also wants to know how more information for this charity. Brother, you can see the scroll bar at the bottom is 13 Rivers Trust. If you go there online, you can see all of our projects under the 13 Rivers Trust website. And you can, if you wish, you can get involved even from far away as well. So please have a look and see what we are actually doing currently. We're going to swiftly move on to a different topic. So Foysal, I'm going to start off with yourself. The current easing of lockdown. What is your thought on that? And is it sufficient? Should we have carried on with full lockdown? Are we going to go back to a 3rd or 4th lockdown? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, basically, I think I started off before saying that we have been enduring for the last year or so, since COVID, from March 2020, when we had the initial lockdown. I think everyone, I mean, I personally, to be honest, I think I've suffered a level of anxiety at some degree and point. Because I've, especially with the messaging that we're getting about BAME communities, and particularly people of Bangladeshi origin and so on, who are more susceptible and more vulnerable to this COVID virus. So now that we've gone through the first, second lockdown, and the second lockdown has been really tough because I think everyone has been indoors. The weather's not been really great to go out, and
apart from those that's gone on the beach when the sun comes out.
Well, that was sort of like after the first lockdown last summer, I think.
No, that was in early after the second one, isn't it? There was a brief period when we had a little bit of sunshine. And,
right.
There was like a crowd of millions going onto the beach.
So just to highlight what Foysal said about anxiety. Can you brothers remember when people were panicking about toilet paper? You know,
right,
they were going crazy. People were fighting over toilet paper. You know, this is the level of chaos that we descended to.
Well,
again,
and hand sanitizers,
partly it's down to the sort of disorganized handling of what happened, especially in the first lockdown. It was so chaotic and so late. You know, we obviously it's a new thing, but we saw in China we had all the news. You know, Britain's got one of the best security and intelligence services in the world, or so we're led to believe. We've got James Bond, right? We know what's going on in different parts of the world, and it's almost like they were blind and deaf. You know, they didn't know what they were doing. You know, people are dying. The hospitals are overfilling in Italy. What were they doing here? They were saying, "Oh, go to the Cheltenham Festival. You know, let's have the Champions League match with Liverpool and Italy. Italy, where everyone's dying. Let them all come over. You know, it's all right. It's all okay."
The Champions League match was between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Unfortunately, some of us did attend that. Let's not talk about that. And the thing with the toilet...
Oh, sorry, did I touch a raw nerve?
No, it was Atletico Madrid, actually.
Atletico Madrid, that's the one. That's the one.
The thing with the toilet paper is, you didn't see Bengali people queuing at Tesco because we got bodnas at home. You understand?
A very good point. And that's the one time I was really proud of one of my Bangladeshi heritage. You know, my bodna is now got pride of place in my showcase.
All the supermarket shelves were empty. I mean, people fighting over trying to take somebody else's toilet paper off them. Punch-ups. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I remember someone commenting about a bodna.
Of all the things, bog rolls. Come on. I mean,
I remember someone who commented about the bodna, who obviously didn't use the bodna, and saying that, why are people using this teapot, these teapots in the restrooms? Why are they using teapots?
It's a special brand of tea.
Another strong flavor there. Answer this question that come up on our screen here. Salam brothers at Atik. Now that Liverpool are out of Europe this season, next trophyless, blah blah blah. I mean, brother, if you really want me to answer that, when we've won the European Cup 6 times, the League 19 times, the World Cup, you know, what more do I want? I'm not greedy.
Well, I think we're going off topic a little bit here.
No, but this brother's asking me a direct question. If you ask me a direct question, you get a direct answer.
Direct answer. Well, back to the bodna. So,
anyway, so I was saying that just to say on a more serious note that I think everyone should try and adhere to the social distancing, wearing masks, despite the fact that we're coming out of lockdown. I know it's boring and we've been doing it, but for everyone's sake, because we've been getting all these variants of this COVID virus. Now today there was an announcement of the Indian variant of the COVID virus. And that's been discovered somewhere where there have been something like 44 different people have contracted this, or it's been found, and they're still investigating how serious this is and whether the vaccine will actually work on this variant.
That kind of that throws into perspective the fact that Bangladesh, Pakistan, and various other countries are on the red list.
Can I just cut in there?
But India isn't. So. Pardon?
We'll go on to that. I'm just going to cut in and read a few comments.
Okay, go on then. I'll leave that one.
A sister is saying that the queues outside Primark and other retail shops with no social distancing, we are definitely going into a third lockdown. Now, this is the thing, you see, when you ease it a little bit, people go mad because they're being locked up and not able to go to various shops, etc.
To be fair, I think on this occasion, on this lockdown, the messaging has been a bit clearer, and also the stages, you know, the staged reintroduction or relaxation of the rules. So, for example, we had schools open, but you know, pubs and shops were still closed. So there was a time to assess the impact that it has. So I think that's been a lot better this time.
Shahi, I just want to cut in on a really important point. I just want to cut in there. I know the messaging has been clearer. I think what's important is that everyone is how it's implemented. The messaging might be clear, the guidance is there, but it's how people implement it. For example, there are some masjids who have Taraweeh prayers, which is alhamdulillah a blessing that they're opening mosque and they're having Taraweeh prayers. But I still think that they're falling short of following the guidance. Like, for example, the distancing rule. When people crowd in some of these mosques, when you look at the crowd and the social distancing requirements and the mask and everything, it does beg the question if that is dangerous. And we should always try and remember what our Prophet said, what Islam says about pandemic, and what we should be. The guidance is there. We don't need just the government's current guidance. The guidance was given to us over 1400 years ago. We need to actually follow and adhere to these guidances properly. And that way we can actually, keep ourselves safe from the virus as much as we can. And the rest of it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will. whichever way it goes. But we should try and adhere to these guidance. That's the main thing.
Shahi, can I just ask you something?
Go on.
I've got a comment. So, the person from I think it's Dubai anyway. They want to know what is a bodna. Can you please explain to them what is a bodna?
So a bodna, I think it's sometimes also referred to as a loiter or something like that. It does look a bit like a teapot. It's got a spout and a handle, like that.
Yeah, but what do you do with it? Do you make tea with it?
You fill it with water. Okay, you fill it with water, and like we were saying
before, boil it though?
If there's a crisis of toilet paper, if you're
so it's basically to clean yourself after going to the loo.
You can clean yourself with the water from the bodna. You can you have to pour it into the right location and
it's mostly using
carry out the cleaning process. So,
it's a substitute for a Muslim shower, what they call in the Middle East. You have
where would you
Muslim shower.
Where would you find this particular bodna? In which
I think
region?
A lot of the sort of Asian shops do still supply it.
So I think Asian countries mostly, is it?
No. You get it in Dubai as well.
Dubai, other countries as well. They use it as well in some form. Obviously, technology's moved on. You've got the sort of toilets with built-in hoses and things like that. So things have moved on, but the concept is the same. You're using water to cleanse yourself after ablution or after using the convenience.
Okay, so that's cleaned up the.
And just to go further, in Dubai, what's that market called? Is it Ramana?
The bodnas everywhere in Dubai. So many Bengalis and Pakistani people out there. You're not short of a bodna in Dubai. You're most likely to come across one in a convenience store over there. So that's cleared that up. So we know what a bodna is. Now, sorry to interrupt Shahi, as he was going into the red list. What do we think of India not being on the red list and Bangladesh and Pakistan are? Because we know a close brother of ours who also a volunteer for Sile Aid is stuck in Bangladesh. The red list wasn't there when he went there. He came in after a week he was out there, and now he can't get back. So it's affected a lot of people. Sheer fact that for 10 days stay, it's going to cost them something ridiculous like £1,800 if they want to come back. That is a lot of money. I don't know which hotel they put you up in, but it is a substantial amount of money to pay for a 10-day quarantine coming back to this country. So, Atik, let's get your views on this. I know you go abroad quite a bit.
Yeah, look, even Stevie Wonder could tell you why, and the guy's blind. Let's Bangladesh, Pakistan have got lower infection rate than France, right? India has got a factory that's producing this COVID vaccine, AstraZeneca one. Now, if you want to put India on the red list, then obviously India are going to turn around and say you're not going to get the vaccine, right? That's the whole reason. Let's call a spade a spade. That is the reason. And now Boris Johnson wants to go to India on a trade mission of some sort.
So when he comes back, he won't be quarantined for 10 days.
I think that might have more to do with it than the fact that they're making vaccines. I think I
know for a fact that
this is my personal opinion, right? I think UK is desperate for a trade deal with India because they can't do it with China because China's on the naughty list right now. The Americans have basically told them, we're not going to give you a preferential deal because what you've done is wrong. They don't agree with it in principle since Joe Biden came in. And obviously the EU, which is our nearest and biggest trading partner, they're messing around purely because of the way the deal was agreed. So now they're desperate and they're begging India. They're on their knees. You can imagine Boris Johnson on his knees, not with the blonde wig this time, but to Mr. Modi saying, come on, mate, sort us out.
For a minute, I thought he's telling Muslims
India's infection rate is going through the roof. They've got a proper crisis going on, and they're not on the red list. It doesn't make sense. Why?
Actually, I have to stop you for a second. We're running out of time as well. But this sister wants as to answer this question. She said her husband and brother-in-law went to Jummah and there was police presence outside the mosque to see people are following the COVID rules. However, this does not extend to retail shops. So she wants to know, are mosques being targeted? Because she found this to be quite frustrating. Mr. Miah, what's your thought on that?
Well, I think it's another symptomatic example of where they're targeting, right? They're targeting certain places that they want to highlight. Obviously, just imagine, right, the headline in the Sun or the Daily Mail or the Express or the Telegraph. Oh, worshippers breaking guidelines.
COVID rules.
You know? Yeah, so it's that whole, I don't know if you remember the Islamophobia thing, yeah, the war on terror thing. It's that whole narrative, yeah, Muslims are dangerous. We don't want them in our country. You know, they deserve to get infected because they're not
Hold on,
following the
Mr. Miah. Hold on,
But
Mr. Miah. Let's not get too radical
if you're
about
on the
this.
beach and you're buying like kippers and sardines, and putting
Mr.
lotion on
Miah,
yourself
Mr.
and rubbing
Miah,
each
hold the
other,
reins
it's
a
all right,
bit.
innit?
Hold the
It's all right.
reins. Listen, we've got police monitoring the masjids. There's nothing
Why?
wrong with that. It
Why?
might be
Right
a
about
blessing
that.
in
It's not just the
disguise.
police, they've got people inside as well.
It might be a blessing in disguise in a way that, you know, people to
They're
adhere.
looking positive. Yeah, that's
I
good,
mean,
actually.
do you remember the time when people were going at, what was that meal thingy that we had last time after second lockdown?
Oh,
when people
top up the
Help out.
Well, they eat out to spread COVID, wasn't it?
eat
Yeah,
out to
something
help
like
out
that,
thing.
yeah.
Now, if you remember,
Eat out to help the virus.
in Ilford, people went mad. They were like, you know, they were more close together to each other in the shops and outside than normal times. Forget COVID.
And there were some
Because
videos
they're
of people
so-
having punch ups in
They're
the
desperate
restaurant.
to go into these restaurants and take up the offers and deals.
So,
Now, it's bananas. I just don't understand it, people's logic sometimes. But I mean, we should always try and look at the positive side of things. Police being present there, overseeing that, making sure that people are adhering to the rules. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise for our communities. So we shouldn't take it negatively. If they're not policing the shops, that's the prerogative of people who go in there. If they think it's not safe, they shouldn't go.
well, you know what? I think we are special. That's why the police are always.
Yeah,
looking out
exactly.
for
We're
us.
special. Yeah, they want to take care of us.
No,
Look
I
after
think,
us.
Thank you very
to be
much to the
balanced,
police
I think,
out there.
it tends to be good for the
Thank you.
community to have, because
Thank you
in
very
some
much.
cases we need protection as well. You know, the police are there to help us to keep safe as well, because I think there's been some incidents of, you know, like attacks on people outside mosques as well. So hopefully that will help the community as well. You know,
Yeah.
just be balanced.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know our money is being used wisely. So thank you for that. We are literally running out of time, so we're going to wrap up. We didn't have any calls, but alhamdulillah, we had a lot of comments. It's been fun.
But it would
talking
be
to you
really
brothers.
nice to have calls coming in
Well,
so
that's
that we
it,
can have an
that's it.
interaction
I mean,
with people.
that's
You know,
what it
that'd
was
be
all
really
about.
nice.
Chit and chat. We hope next week people
Inshallah.
are more brave and give us a call and we can have a little chat with them. Mr. Miah, just a quick summary of all the things that we've chatted about. Pick a topic and then inshallah we'll end the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered quite a good range of topics here. So we had the C jabs. You know, we're encouraging everybody to go out and have a jab. You know, book it once they're given the invitation and have it for the protection of themselves and, like, especially the vulnerable in the community. Obviously, with the haircut situation, I think, you know, we do want to look smart, and especially the young people with their fades and whatnot. However, please be aware of, again, safety and, you know, distancing and so on. And if you are queuing for a cut, make sure you're 2 meters distant from either side. You know, what can I say? With the
Do you
male
have to be 2
candidate,
meters away from the barber? Has he got a
there
long?
might be a bit
Has he got a
tricky
long?
to get a haircut then.
Well,
If
attitude
they
now.
could do the haircut over Zoom, it would be blooming perfect, wouldn't it? But anyway,
If you're queuing for a haircut and you're 2 meters away, you get 50 people running in front of you. Trust me.
Well, that's the sad thing, that if there's a little gap,
Well, look, my
then people
missus
start
gave me a
queuing.
haircut, bless her, and it's not turned out too bad.
yeah, same
Oh,
here.
we got a call. We
Oh,
have a call.
fantastic.
Hello, caller. You're live with us at the studio. Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
It's me, Abu Muhim.
Who's
Oh,
Abu Muhim?
right.
Don't know
All
anyone.
right, you're gonna have to be quick. We're running out of time.
Go on. What's your question?
What did you say about haircut?
Oh my God, you're bald, bro.
Yeah, but you're balding.
Come on, leave it out.
No. For the last 20 years, I've been having haircut at home. My missus have been giving me lovely haircut. The side and the back.
What about the
hairs
top?
on the side and the back? Well, that's funny because I've never noticed you got hairs on the side and the back.
Bro,
I know a man in Turkey who might be able to help you with that, bro.
Shahi, this is a crank call, bruv. I'm going to end this call. I'm not having a bald person come on this show talking about haircut. Get off the line, bruv.
Obviously, do you not see my side and the back? I say to my wife, I need number 1 on the side and number 2 at the back. The Mohican look.
The Mohican look.
You need some hair in the middle of your head for a Mohican
look. It's the bit on the top.
You need a fade, bruv. Thank you for your call, Abu Bay. Nicely rounded off the show. So, inshallah, we shall be back next Friday with more interesting topics. Please join us. We love your
also,
comments.
if you'd like to suggest some topics that you're very interested in hearing about, we can incorporate those into the show.
Well, I mean, people can talk with the comments or phone calls. They can talk about whichever topics they want. So
there's a sister who's been trying to come through the phone calls, but they're having problems. I think if we can have a look at that, perhaps in the next
inshallah,
show.
Hopefully next week we'll have a few more calls. Thank you, my brothers. It's been fun. I enjoyed myself, especially with Ramadan. You need to have a little relaxation as well after hard days of fasting. So, inshallah, I shall see some of you next week, maybe not all. And with that, I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum to everyone who's watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers, sisters, and kids. I didn't see you there. And do you know what is happening this Ramadan? I mean, like this Ramadan 2021. Actually, I, Tamjeed Al-Qadir, will be hosting Young Muslims to Learn. So why don't you stay tuned for more? So you might be wondering, when is the time? When is it? What day is it? What time is it? Tell me more. So inshallah, I will be doing that. So the timings will be every weekend in Ramadan. Saturday and Sunday weekend. In Ramadan, the times are 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. That is where I will be. And you might be like, okay, yes, that has helped us, but how do we join? So if you want to join, you can go onto Facebook and search 13 Rivers Trust. Or you can go into Facebook and type in MyRamadanTv. Or if you're not on the Facebook type, you might go onto YouTube and search up MyRamadanTv. So that is where you'll be finding me. And Jazakallah, and I hope to see you all. Kids, remember this. I hope to see you all on Young Muslims to Learn. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.